So the goal of this talk is to shed light on the importance of social functioning after traumatic brain injury and how we as healthcare providers can help dramatically improve the quality of life for the patients that we treat by very intentionally focusing on relationships and social belonging. The first main point is that social isolation is one of the most devastating consequences of traumatic brain injury. It's been acknowledged in research and treatment communities that, of course, while physical and cognitive impairments are very important, a patient's level of social isolation is the strongest predictor of long-term success following TBI. There are multiple factors that contribute to this level of social isolation. There are neurologically based changes that can happen as a result of the brain injury that affect social information processing, that can make it more difficult for a patient to process things like facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, and discerning sarcasm versus sincerity. So in addition to the attention and memory problems often experienced after TBI, it can also be difficult to, for example, tell the difference between an angry face versus a fearful face, or to know whether someone seems sarcastic or sincere when they say, "Yeah, you're a real friend." There are also emotional and personality changes that can happen as a result of TBI. As we know, there can be neurologically based changes in personality that are a direct result of the brain injury. And of course, there are psychological symptoms that can occur as a reaction to the many losses and major life changes that often occur after brain injury. Another barrier to social reintegration is how to address the very complicated puzzle of trying to adapt to a cultural environment that for the most part does not accept or nurture people after brain injury. This forces the person with a brain injury to face very real existential dilemmas, such as what does it mean to be a grown man when you're unemployed, unable to drive, and have a visible disfigurement? Or how do you even begin to address questions from your church community, comments about the fact that because you're a veteran with TBI and PTSD, they're afraid that you might cause a mass shooting? On the more positive side, how do you share the wisdom that you've gained by surviving your traumas when other people see you as a victim? The longing to connect and belong is a basic human desire that's present in the very fabric of our biology. And after TBI, the ways of connecting with other people and of belonging to social communities are often more challenging and more complicated than ever before. The second main point is that as healthcare providers, we can help dramatically improve the quality of life for the patients that we work with by very intentionally focusing on relationships. Social neuroscience is growing by leaps and bounds and is teaching us about just how much the brain is truly wired to crave and to reward healthy social interactions. You get the name right? Amy Banks, who's a psychiatrist at Wellesley College, has developed a psychotherapy model that's based on 4 social neuroscience systems in the brain. She calls this the CARE model. The C stands for calm, and it refers to the smart vagus nerve, which responds to social stimuli, such as the compassionate face of a loved one or a calm tone of voice. And this nerve actually inhibits the fight, flight, or freeze response by giving us an instinctive sense of social safety. The A stands for acceptance, and it refers to the social pain overlap theory, which is based on the findings that social rejection is processed in the dorsal anterior cingulate, which is the same part of the brain that processes physical pain. In other words, when we think that we're being socially excluded, it truly hurts. The R stands for resonance and refers to the mirroring systems in the brain, by virtue of which we're able to connect with other people and get a sense of what they're going through, truly resonate with them, because in our mind we are mimicking the states of those around us. In other words, our brain processes what other people are doing as though we're actually doing it ourselves. And this allows us to have a greater sense of other people's intentions, to feel empathy, and to increase our own level of social self-awareness. The E stands for energy, and refers to the fact that when we have healthy social interactions, we actually get a dopamine surge, which is intrinsically rewarding and provides a burst of motivation. We're also learning a lot more about how TBI can affect social cognition and how treatments such as cognitive rehabilitation, psychotherapy, recreation therapy, and other approaches can help people improve their social functioning after traumatic brain injury. We developed a social cognition rehabilitation group at the Washington, D.C. VA for veterans with TBI and PTSD that combines cognitive rehabilitation and psychotherapy approaches. This year-long, weekly, 90-minute group is designed for polytrauma veterans with chronic symptoms and a high level of treatment need. There are 22 topics covered in the group, including things like facial expression, tone of voice, body language, small talk, empathy, using and understanding sarcasm, and deciding who to trust in relationships. We're currently in the fourth cohort of the group. We've had a 0% attrition rate across all 4 cohorts. And each of the 4 groups has requested to extend the group beyond the 12-month duration. We have initial feasibility and pilot data that suggests that the group is not only feasible, but it's also resulted in quantitative improvements across multiple domains. This has included improvements on objective measures of social cognition and also on self-report measures of social behaviors in daily life, TBI-related quality of life, and mood. Group members often travel long distances to attend the group, even with chronic pain. And initial qualitative feedback included that they loved the group, that the group taught them that they're not alone, that the group taught them to better pay attention to social cues in daily life, and that the greatest advantage of group was increased self-awareness. So, during the year-long group, some veterans began volunteering, some returned to work, and some returned to school. Group not only allows a place for veterans to practice social interactions and to provide strategies with each other that they learned from coping with their symptoms, but it also offers a space for veterans to share that wisdom that they've gained from surviving their traumas and to engage in deep, meaningful relationships with one another. So in the packet of materials you received today, about 200 of you hopefully got a copy of the workbook. It's on a CD as a PDF file. For those of you who did not receive a CD, please email me, kelly.mccarron@tba.gov, and I'd be delighted to send you an electronic copy. If you'd like, you can take the CD or the electronic file to your medical media department, and they can print a hard copy of the workbook for you. If you're interested in starting a group like this at your VA, please don't hesitate to email me or Dr. Campbell or Megan Jessica. Another important thing for us to keep in mind is that after TBI, the polytrauma healthcare team at times becomes a veteran's primary social network. Without the social interactions at the VA, some of the patients that we see would be so socially isolated that we would actually expect their social cognition to decompensate due to lack of stimulation. So by offering to be one half of a healthy patient-provider relationship, we really provide an opportunity for veterans to practice and understand what it feels like to be a valued, respected adult post-brain injury. The third main point is that focusing on relationships in our work with patients makes us better healthcare providers and better human beings. By having a relational focus in our work with patients, we can experience greater depth and meaning because we're able to better connect with, rather than run away from, some of the most difficult aspects of caring for individuals with TBI. When we address social misunderstandings with our patients, like for example, letting them know that our expressions of concern should not be mistaken for fear, anger, or disappointment, it provides an opportunity for patients to practice what it's like to repair social misunderstandings. When we let our veterans know that when we agree with them that financial exploitation is not only wrong, but that it must be reported, we show that there are systems in place to help fight back against any mistreatment that they may receive. When we not only tell our patients that we value their health, but we actually advocate for access to specific but because fighting for their health, even when it's difficult and actually inconvenient for us, is our main objective and our primary mission. Amazing things happen when we let patients know that sharing their most tender concerns with us is important, such as fears of growing old alone, or anger at the fact that their aging parents are caring for them rather than the other way around, or their desire to be a person of honor who protects and defends other people, even though their physical abilities have changed. When we provide the space for these difficult but deeply important conversations, we convey to our patients that their feelings are valid and that their life post-TBI is incredibly vital and vitally important. What happens much more often than not is that when we create the relational space for these difficult conversations, it not only allows for feelings of acceptance and belonging, but it also creates a starting point for creative solutions. In sharing the journey with a veteran, as they come up with their own solutions, the most difficult questions about identity, war, love, and meaning in life is one of the most awe-inspiring, life-affirming experiences imaginable.